Hello and welcome to episode 4 of From Pierogi to Perfect English. Cześć, witaj. So I'm over the moon to be joined again by Stef, who's back from the dead, it seems. Welcome back, Stef. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm all right. I'm alive. I'm in much better health ahead of my surgery.
I'm alive. I'm reminded of Frankenstein when you said that. Yeah, I know you've had a pretty tough time of things, so it's really good to hear you sounding a lot better. That's good to hear. Anyway.
Definitely. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm ready. I'm not in any pain, so everything's good to go, and I'm excited to be back here to join you this week.
All right. So today is Sunday. How was your weekend so far? Have you had a busy weekend, Steph?
Yeah, it was not too bad. A lot of meal prepping, trying to run my daughter around. What about you? How's things going over there?
Relatively quiet the weekend. My wife's away in Jakarta, in the big city. So I'm on my own, trying to survive. I'm not extremely good at taking care of myself when I'm on my own, so I struggle to eat on time and go to bed at a reasonable hour. But I have got 4 cute cats to keep me company, so it's really not so bad. I heard there was some kind of storm in Bali today. Was there?
Yeah, a little bit. We had a pretty severe thunder and lightning storm, but I'm not complaining. It's been pretty late into the wet season, so I'm grateful we've had the last month of sunny weather.
Yeah.
And even despite a little bit of rain, it's not so bad when our coldest temperature is around 26 degrees Celsius. How's it been this wet season over in Java?
Java. Well, it's been quite wet generally, but not exceptionally wet. I think I've seen it worse. Today was overcast, which means it was just cloudy all day, but we didn't have any rain, which meant I could go out and see some friends, drink some coffee, without having to hide inside anywhere. So that was kind of cool. Speaking of temperatures, I hear Poland is near freezing. I've seen a few photos and videos of snowfall, particularly in Krakow and a few other places. Did you see that?
Yeah, the same. I've had students laugh when I complain about the weather here and say this isn't a true winter when it's still 26 degrees Celsius. So even if you're wet, it's never cold. So I guess we've got it pretty good over here despite a bit of rain.
Speaking of snow, as a Canadian, I imagine you've had quite a lot of experience with snowfall, or am I generalizing?
Oh, no, not at all, especially working in northern Canada. I said I've experienced enough winters for the rest of my life, and that's why I live here.
Great answer. So today, we thought we would talk about small talk. So small talk is this, well, I guess most of you know what it is. It's the little light, positive conversations we have with strangers who we meet in life, maybe in an elevator or in a shop or new people at work. But it's something we also do with people we know, particularly at the beginning of a conversation, right?
Absolutely. It's kind of a standard warm-up. So as you were saying, it can be with strangers, but even with people you're a little more familiar with. Maybe someone around the office, colleagues, maybe the same coffee girl that you meet. Generally, before you get to anything deep, there's kind of this expectation. And it's funny, as we just had a little small chit chat, you can see that generally it's always pushed towards the positive, that people don't really want to express with small talk any kind of negative emotions.
Yeah, I think that's generally true. Yeah, I was thinking about this. I think it comes from wanting to set a kind of tone or a level. So you go into a fresh conversation, and instead of bringing negativity or sadness, you try and start it off on a positive footing, positive basis, and generally, if you're a positive person, positivity comes back. So there's that element. I think it's almost a subconscious thing that we do in European, well, I say European, but at least British and North American cultures, right?
100%. I would say for Canadians, it's quite taboo if you are anything other than positive all the time, it's hard to even express negative emotions. And there's also a real pressure, sometimes even to an extreme where people can say toxic positivity.
Toxic.
So some might even find it.
What does toxic mean? What does that mean? Toxic positivity is an interesting term.
So it's kind of the inability to just be genuinely honest, or that kind of internal pressure that we would feel in Canada, for example, instead of saying, oh, I'm a little bit anxious, I'm going to have a surgery. We always have to put a spin onto it so that something's a little more light and socially acceptable, I suppose.
It's interesting. In the UK, we talk about having what we call a stiff upper lip or a brave face. Some of the expressions we have, which basically means kind of like, even if there's a challenging situation or really difficult situation, we try and face it in a positive way, in a I don't know, optimistic way, even maybe even laugh in the face of bad things.
Danger.
Sometimes, yeah, danger certainly. I think that's definitely a thing. I mean, British people, we like to complain a fair bit, but we normally turn our complaints into jokes, into sarcasm, into sort of cynicism, which I do think, me and Lucas last week, we were talking about humour and the similarities between, Polish and British humour, at least. And there is a shared sensibility, I think, where sort of cynicism and dark humour exists between our two nations. I'm sure it's the same in Canada, really, no?
I think actually it's a little bit less, maybe. That perhaps it's a little bit darker. There's a little more sarcasm than we have in Canada. But we are also constantly told that we're overly polite, overly friendly, or overly apologetic, for example.
That's something I've heard. One thing I just thought about, like, I don't know if this is completely true all the time, but they say that British people will laugh at themselves, whereas American, like from the USA, will generally laugh at other people, like in terms of how their comedy works. What do you think about that?
So that British is more self-deprecating. Exactly.
So, yeah, if you look at American comedy shows, they tend to be making fun out of the other person. But British, they'll be turning that on themselves. What about Canadian humour?
I would say we would definitely maybe lean a bit towards being more self-deprecating and making a joke out of ourselves rather than others. Maybe that ties into being overly polite or having to always be overly kind towards others. So maybe this is a similarity. We can be on Team England for this one.
Yeah, indeed. There's a lot of similarities between our cultures, I think. Switching subjects slightly, part of small talk is about like acknowledging that you're listening when someone's speaking. So listeners, you may have noticed that when Steph says something or vice versa, you can hear me going, I see, interesting. And making small noises or short words to communicate to Steph that I'm following what she's saying. I'm interested, I'm paying attention, right?
Absolutely. This is such a big part of small talk, is giving those little confirming sounds. And if you're not physically meeting with someone, especially on a call, where you can't see the person, making sure to say, okay, oh, really? Even mirroring things that someone said. If you'd said, for example, I just went to Spain, I could say, oh, Spain, really? And this shows
Spain,
a level of interest.
Yeah, indeed. It's like responding to the other person. Actually, you make a good point. If you're on a phone call with someone and they're not saying anything, it's like you kind of wonder if the internet connection's gone or something, or
Yes,
the phone line's disconnected.
they're frozen.
Hello, are you there? And then you hear a voice going, "Oh yeah, I'm listening." And it's like, "Okay, you're there." It was just really quiet. So
Yeah, I've had that a few times. Or
Yeah.
I think the other person's frozen, and they were like, "No, I was just listening to you." So those kind of confirming sounds or signs can be so important in small talk. It's such a good
Mhm.
addition to show good listening skills, or that you comprehend what the person's saying.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really useful aspect of communication. Real life communication. Perfect in business as well. Useful in business to show that you're following, what you're being told or what's being explained to you. But also good, as personal relationships too, right?
Yes, it's a sign of respect. It's a sign of interest in what the other person's saying, that you're an active participant, even if you're just the one listening and not doing the speaking, that you want to hear what this person has to say, even if it is small talk, that it's a genuine connection to the other person.
And ignoring what someone says and completely changing the subject, like I'm doing right now. Sorry, Steph. I'm joking. Yeah, that's also rude. So if someone says something and you want to switch subjects, it's nice to kind of bridge into that other subject, right? Rather than just flipping into a different subject.
Absolutely. Find nice ways to smoothly transition onto something else, or even to escape sometimes.
Yeah, escape strategies, because all good things come to an end. So, we're not always running away, we're not always escaping, but we might want to either move the conversation along or we might be running out of time. So, how do we conclude a conversation nicely?
Polite ways. Exit strategy for a film.
I like the
So,
reference.
yeah, I figured you'd like that Radiohead reference. But there's, I guess, more casual ways. You'll see in a lot of American films where someone might slap their knee and say, "Well, all right then." And that's just a way of saying, "Okay, this is done. I have to go."
Right, I've got to go. Yeah, that's very British as well, to be honest.
Okay, really blunt, really direct, really to the point.
Yeah, but the leg slap indicates we're done here.
It's time to wrap it up.
Yeah. I think also like summarizing as well. So, if you have a conversation and there's lots of information shared, it's good to kind of summarize things a little bit at the end, just to say, look, I get it, I understand. I think I've got everything. So I'm going to have to go now, but it's been really good to talk to you, and then move on. So that's another way. Again, it shows you're listening and paying attention.
I think that's a lovely way to show that you valued what the person had to say, even sometimes showing respect for the other person's time and saying something like, "Well, I won't take much more of your time, so it'll be nice to catch up with you again later," or "Enjoy the rest of your day."
Yeah. It's very artful, isn't it? Conversation, potentially. It's quite a beautiful thing when done well.
Definitely.
Silences. We did talk a little bit about silence. What about prolonged or very long silences in conversation? As a British person, I'm quite uncomfortable with long silences. If I'm in an elevator with someone for a minute or two, and it's just me and them, I will probably at least say hi rather than just ignore them and stare at the wall. What about you? How do you feel? I
would say Canadians smile generally all the time, and it's sometimes just a nervous smile or compulsory reaction. I would also say we get really uncomfortable with silence. It's very hard not to continuously talk or fill that space. It's something we're definitely not accustomed or used to whatsoever.
Do you know why we like that? What's wrong with us?
I don't know. I have many European friends, and I've been told my whole life I'm over talkative, but I find most other Canadians, I find most Brits, and I definitely find most Americans very, very similar in this way. So perhaps our students can explain to us. a little bit more if in Poland silence is neutral and they don't feel as forced to fill every empty space with conversation.
Actually, I just had a thought. Silence is a powerful tool in business negotiating.
Ooh,
So,
yes.
yes, and it's a kind of a power play. So, if I say $200 and then you say $250 and then I say, no, $220 and then you just go silent, there's a real tension there, that's been created. So it can be used kind of as a weapon.
Nerve-wracking.
It's a weapon in a way, a tension weapon. So maybe that's one of the reasons why silence is strange, because it's strangely loud silence in some ways.
This is definitely a weaker point for me. I can certainly feel. I think if we were having a business negotiation, you'd win. You'd get your price, James, if you use this on me.
Well, one way to lose a negotiation is to keep talking. I know that much. Best way to win a negotiation is to not talk much and let the other person talk.
Must be where the phrase comes from. Silence is golden.
Yeah. Oh, very good observation. I like it. It took me a second to register what you said, and I was like, yeah, silence. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, silence is golden, and this is such a common phrase. So maybe one I have to implement a little bit more in my own day-to-day life.
Yeah, that's a brilliant observation about that phrase that I've never thought about. So thank you, Steph. Quite a revelation. Okay, I can see that we're 16 minutes into episode 4. So we were going to look at some appropriate and inappropriate small talk, maybe questions and statements. So we've got a short list of 10, haven't we here?
Yeah, a bit of a game.
Kind of.
So I've got some questions for you, and you've got some for me. Shall I start first?
Yeah, let's see how we feel by being asked these questions respectively.
So I will pitch you the question, and you can tell me if this is a kind of conversation or question that you would have with a friend or a stranger. So the first one is, James, do you think it will rain?
Definitely a stranger. That's a very general, universally friendly question. So do I think it will rain? Looking at the sky, it's a possibility. So I'm quite comfortable with that question with anybody who might ask it.
Perfect. Weather's a good one for small talk.
Steph, you look tired.
Oh, this is bordering a rude friend or an enemy.
Ooh.
This is a sensitive one, particularly for women, or statement, I should say.
Avoid.
This is particularly when you say this to a woman. I get asked this a lot when I've not put makeup on, for example. Either you look tired or you look sick, and this is kind of a way of saying you look terrible.
You don't look tired. That's equally as bad. Are you saying I normally do? Okay.
Yeah, this is one that's, friend, enemy maybe, or frenemy. Slang for a friend that's kind of an enemy.
So let's generally not go there. So if someone looks wonderful, tell them they look wonderful. But if they look terrible, then let's avoid that one.
From the film Bambi, if you haven't got something nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Oh, Bambi. It was a sad film. It's your question,
I've got one for you. So, did you watch the football match, James?
The football match? Well, it's a good question. For people who like football, I guess. If you don't like football, then it doesn't matter. But you can't go wrong asking about a game. Right now, I know Poland are chasing World Cup qualification. And they've got, I think, Albania in the next match, who they probably will beat, and they might face Ukraine. So that'll be a huge game. So, yeah, that's a safe question for pretty much anyone, but some people might not care, obviously, because football's not for everybody.
Okay, so that one could be stranger or friend.
Yeah,
small
stranger
talk.
Or friend. It's universal.
All right.
Steph, I really like your house. It's amazing. How much is your rent?
This is definitely a friend one. So, especially anything financial, certainly you would not speak about with strangers, someone close to you, so that they would give you an honest idea about the market. But we don't really give anything away financially. Definitely not to strangers. It's very taboo to ask things about rent or salary.
Yeah. Definitely in British as well. I think we like to see each other as equals, and as soon as wealth or lack of wealth come into it, it starts to structure a kind of hierarchy, and we stop seeing each other as equals. So we tend to avoid talking about personal wealth for sure.
100%.
Okay, you're up.
My next one for you. Are you actually 6 foot tall, James?
6 foot? You mean 2 meters?
2 meters, yes. Are you actually that tall?
It sounds like you're doubting my claims of being a 2 meter tall man. I don't mind this question too much, but it does make me feel a bit awkward because, there's a bit of a thing that if you're a tall man, then you're, a better man than someone who is shorter, which is ridiculous, of course. So, yeah, it's a slightly awkward question. And the answer is I'm nearly 2 meters tall. I'm just slightly off it, I think, if I'm very honest. This is a question for a friend, maybe, not a stranger.
Okay, or maybe a frenemy. This could be like the "you look tired" one version.
Yeah. It's a vague personal attack, possibly.
Okay, perfect. Your go, James.
My go. The world is a very strange place right now. So I was wondering who you're going to vote for in the next election, Stef. Tell me.
This one, definitely friend. I would even say really close friend. This is also another taboo. It falls under the same category as finances. It's definitely something we try to stay away from. No talk of politics and money, especially not with small talk.
Yeah, politics. Politics, I think a lot of people will have some interest in. I mean, it does affect our lives in some ways, but it's also a very tiresome subject and divisive subject where people have strong opinions sometimes and it can cause a lot of conflict. So definitely best avoided with strangers, just for safety reasons, for one. And it's boring, generally.
100%.
Did you see that new restaurant they just put in town? Have you been there yet? It looks good.
This one's definitely a great small talk one. It's always nice, especially if you've just met someone or you're traveling. It's a great way to get some tips from a local. You could ask this from a shopkeeper, a seller, passerby on the street if you were engaged in small talk. So this is definitely one that's good for a stranger. Great small talk.
Yeah, you can't go wrong talking about, things in the local area, like, do you know any good places for my children to go? Or there's a water park I hear about. Have you been there? Is it any good? You can't go wrong asking about this. And most people are happy to give their knowledge about their experiences of things to see and do in an area, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Same for a lot of people coming to Bali, and it's always nice to share some tips and tricks from someone who's a local to the area.
Yeah, first-hand knowledge is really crucial. All right, we've got 2 left. Steph?
Okay. Have you had a busy day so far?
Today, not really. It's a safe question. You can ask that to anybody. Today, not so much. Sundays, I like to keep a pretty easygoing day, really, because I'm busy throughout the week. So yeah, Sunday is the day I get out of bed really late, or as late as I can, because my cats don't allow it. And just relax. And then, of course, we do our podcast here. So yeah, safe question. how's your day going? You had a busy day. You got any plans for later? That kind of stuff. It's all right. It's good.
Absolutely. Even with a stranger, someone you've just met, or again, working, someone who's at a shop. Have you had a busy morning? How's your sales been? Totally safe.
Yeah, that's good. And let's finish this on a danger question.
Okay.
Brace
Shoot,
yourself,
I'm ready.
Steph. Brace yourself.
Okay.
Steph, have you put on weight?
Oof. Oh, I
What?
think
What's wrong?
most places, I would say Poland, England, Canada, I think we could all agree that this is far from friend. This would be an enemy. This is a really unkind statement. However,
Okay.
very socially acceptable in Indonesia. This was something definitely to adjust to.
Yeah, in Indonesia, they also ask you about your religion. What religion are you? That's a common question I get asked.
Yeah, it's even on your ID card here, and people are very casual with it. It definitely took a lot of adjusting to. I always joked I don't need a scale in my home. If I have lost or gained weight, an Indonesian will tell me without batting an eye, and then ask me what my religion is immediately after, telling me I look fatter.
Hey, you look fat. Oh, thanks. Nice to meet you. Yeah, that's not going to fly in Europe. That's not going to fly in the UK or the States or Canada.
100%. So we know generally we can agree we should stay away from women's appearance, weight.
Yeah.
Generally people's religion, their
politics, their wealth.
Yeah.
These are no-nos. I'm looking at the clock, and we're clocking nearly 27 minutes, which is definitely our longest podcast. So perhaps we should wind this up. What do you think?
All right, then, as I slap my knee. All righty, then. I won't keep you any longer from watching the football game.
Yes, as usual, there's a game forthcoming in the next 20 minutes. So I'm going to go settle down with a lemonade. I haven't got any beer, so it'll be lemonade and watch the game. Steph, it's late where you are, so you're going to go rest now, ready for tomorrow?
Absolutely. I need to be in good strength and condition for surgery, so hopefully I will be back on the podcast next week.
Fingers crossed. I hope
Thank you.
I hope your surgery goes very well, and of course, on behalf of all of our listeners, we all wish you well.
Thank you so much, James. It was a pleasure to catch up with you today.
I wish I could say the same, but it was pretty difficult for me listening to this.
There's some of that British sarcasm.
There it is. Okay. Thank you, Steph. Have a lovely evening. Take it easy. And thank you all for listening. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.